Hey guys, today we're going to talk about predicting and probability. So we've already worked a lot with probability, so that should be pretty simple for you guys. Predicting is just the next step, the step of adding a proportion to it. And so we're going to go through these examples. You should already have this glued in into your journal, glued or taped in, it doesn't matter either one. But we're going to go ahead and get right into this. But the steps for predicting mean is to find the probability first, and then you've got to set up a proportion with the new total. So finding the probability, we have a number cube that is a number cube. Oh my gosh, a number cube that has 6 sides, and the probability of rolling a two would be 1 out of 6. So the probability of rolling a two is 1 out of 6. We already know how to do that. Now we want to find out, okay, if I roll it 300 times, what's the probability of me still rolling? What's a prediction of me rolling a two each time? Well, the first thing was you found the probability. Then you've got to find, what did I say, 300? You just set up a proportion. This is your probability, and then this is your proportion on this other side. You already know how to do that. Cross multiply and divide, and you would get an answer. So we're going to do a couple of examples here. So example number one, every day Jane's teacher randomly picks a number from 1 to 20. So from 1 through 20, 1 through 20 is how many numbers she picks. That's the number of the day. It can be repeated. So that means that she can replace it. That means that this is an independent event. It's not going to change your denominator. It's not going to change and all that good stuff. There are 180 days in the school year. You're going to need that information. The key word to figure out whether or not you need to predict, keywords are predict, expect. Those are words that you're going to need to look for in these word problems that will help guide you to be knowing that you have to predict. We've been working with simple probability where it was just one event. Then we started working with two events, like two dice or a spinner and a coin and things like that. So in this question, it says there are 180 days in the school year. We want to predict how many days the number of the day will be greater than 15. So the first thing is to set up the probability. So we're looking for the probability of the number of the day. Okay. Well, and it's got to be greater than 15. Well, how many numbers are between 15 and 20? There are four numbers. So the probability is 4 out of 20. I'm sorry, not four. There's five numbers. 5 out of 20. And when you divide and simplify, you'll get 1/4. So you found your probability. Step two is now you got to set up a proportion. So you got 1/4. And the question says there's 180 days. Well, we're going to predict how many times that's going to happen in 180 days. So you're solving for x. We're going back to proportions now. So this is your probability, and then this side is your proportion. Cross multiply 180 times 1, you get 1. 180 divided by 4, and you should get 45 days. So stuff we've already done, except now you're finding the probability first, and then you're predicting based on what the information in the question tells you. All right, example 2, predict. There's your keyword. How many times will you roll a number less than 5? So numbers less than 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. There's four numbers. There's 4 out of 6. So the probability of me getting less than 5 is 4 out of 6, which when I divide that out, 4 divided by 2, 6 divided by 2 gives me 2/3. So that's my probability. So now I take my probability, 2/3, and I've got to make it equal to a proportion. I want to find out how often this will happen if I do it 35 times. We're just predicting. We're not saying it's exactly going to happen that way, but we're looking for x. 35 times 2 is 70. 70 divided by 3 gives you 23 point blah, 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 blah. I think it's that. And can you roll a dice 23 and then some? No. So in this case, your rounding would actually go up. So you would roll 24 times, because if you said 23, then you're actually not close to the prediction. You're closer with 24. All right, example 4, the experimental probability that it will rain on any given day in Houston, Texas is about 15%. Out of 50 days, about how many days can residents predict rain? There's my key word. That's telling me I need to be able to predict rain. So this one actually is a little bit easier than you guys probably think. You already know is over of equals percent over 100. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to find out is 15%. So we are looking for what is 15% of 50. And we know 15% is over 100. So we can cross multiply and divide, or we can just multiply 15 times. We can change this percent to a decimal and multiply those two across. When you do that, you actually get 7.5 days. Well, I know that we can have half a day, but typically what they do on the weather is they do it in actual days that happen. So they do it in full days. So we would round this to 8 days. All right, example 5. On average, 24% of the customers will think about this. The 24% of the customers who buy shoes in a particular store buy 2 or more pairs. One weekend, 300 customers purchased shoes. How many can be predicted? So we know we're going to have to set up a proportion to buy 2 or more pairs of shoes. Guys, this is a type of question where they throw a bunch of stuff in here to just confuse you. A percent is out of 100. So 24 out of 100 is equal to, what are we trying to predict? Out of 300 customers. So don't let all these words and all these, okay, well, what about one pair of shoes or 2 pairs of shoes or this, that? It's this simple, guys. So now all you do is just cross multiply, divide, and you get 72. So we can expect 72 customers to buy shoes that buy 2 or more pairs of shoes. And so there is your information on predicting for probability. If you have any questions or need to refer back to it, then go ahead and rewatch the video. You can pause it at any time. All that kind of good stuff. Make sure this is glued into your journal. This will help you on the assignment, the homework assignment that is due at the end of class on Friday.